There are a lot of information in this documentary, so many interviews, historical facts, erotic scenes, views and theories, all are gathered around sex. These are separately instructive and suggestive, but piecing all these notions together makes the narrative, its rhythm and tone so quick, preventing us from focusing. We are shown something and then immediately are forced to forget that, because there are some new materials on the screen. This is why this documentary has added too many sex scenes. They explain nothing and just function as a way to impress audiences. Still, the novelty of this documentary is absorbing. Although it doesn't know how to say, it has a lot to say. Its main subject is how a sex scene is filmed, how the actors are prepared physically and mentally, what the reservations are about likely abuses and harassments. And this final controversial question, are the sex scenes written, set and designed in a way to satisfy male gaze? In cinema stories, women are mostly one-dimensional objects, said Soloway, a filmmaker and one of the interviewees. What she means is that all abilities women have, cinema is only interested in their sexual attraction. In fact, they are passively supposed to be wanted rather than want. But as the documentary continues, it tells us that in the early cinema things were different. In the late 20s and early 30s, women had a lot of power. There were a lot of women writers. The characters that women played in cinema weren't constructed for men's eyes. They themselves were sexually adventurous. As Jane Fonda described, the 20s and 30s was the sexiest time for women in movies, the era of naughty women like Bette Davises, Mae West, and Garbos. This era declined when Production Code came. Production Code was guidelines for the self-censorship of content in motion pictures applied by Hollywood from 1934 to 1968. Kisses were only allowed to be 3 seconds long, and no sex out of marriage was permitted. These strict rules limited women and weakened their position in the cinema. Time passed, and in the 60s and early 70s, with the rise of hard pornography, eroticism came back to the motion pictures. But this time it was a little bit different from the past. We went from having romance without sex to having sex without romance. Body parts remarkably reveal some technical tricks employed by filmmakers to make a sex scene. Sex scenes are actually simulating sex. What we see eventually on the screen is completely different from what really happened on the set between the actors. There are at least 4 groups involved in this mechanism, almost unknown but very influential: intimacy coordinators, makeup artists, body doubles, and visual effects artists. The documentary interviews with one in each of these groups and brings us shocking facts. How intimacy coordinators try to relax the actors, how makeup artists cover the important parts with modest garments and merkin on it, how body doubles impersonate real actors, and how visual effects artists finally make the actors more beautiful. It's like a factory. The actors' bodies are raw materials, and the film characters we see on the screen are the final products. There is an interesting case of body doubling in movie history in the famous shower scene in Psycho movie. Janet Leigh actually wasn't the one under the shower whose body parts were shot and made into that horrible montage. It was Marlon Renfro. The fact was kept a secret for decades. I wonder how many secrets Hollywood has. This documentary is an examination of the methods by which Hollywood deludes audiences in sex scenes. The fact that if we know, eroticism will be forever powerless. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to help me improve my channel. Like my video and comment on it. I'm curious what you think about my reviews.